Hello and welcome to Security Scan. I am Vishal Dahiya, and this week we will talk about the naval variant of LCA Tejas. Last week, the naval variant of light combat aircraft Tejas made a successful short-arrested landing on shore-based test facility in Goa. This is a significant development for this fighter jet being manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which will be eventually deployed on aircraft carriers. Flight in Naval in 2012, and 2 years later, the first prototype of the naval variant carried out its maiden ski jump at the shore-based test facility. Now, the naval LCA is designed with stronger landing gears to absorb forces exerted by the ski jump ramp during takeoff. Unlike its regular version, the naval Tejas can take off within 200 meters and land within 100 meters. For more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests in the studio today. Let me start by introducing the guests to you, beginning with Retired Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha, our defense expert here, somebody who will know better as to why do we need this and what more can be done. And we have with us the Retired Major General Ravi Arora as well, Chief Editor of Indian Military Review, and Ajay Banerjee, Defense Correspondent from Tribune, who keeps tab on the timelines as well as how things have been in the defense sector. Let's begin with you, Admiral Sinha, and let's try and understand and put things in perspective for our viewers to look at the naval variant of LCA Tejas. 1, what was the need? 2, how did it come about?
It was 1989, Vishal, that Dr. Kota Hari Narayan paid a visit to Goa to see how does a Harrier operate. And he went around the aircraft and asked me about, I was commanding the squadron at that time, every aspect as to why undercarriage is like this and why the aircraft is like this and what does it do. We gave him a ride in our simulator, and after 2-3 days he went back. And he said that we are wanting to make a naval variant. So from thought process to this stage is 30 years time for development of any aircraft. Their intention was that when we make our own aircraft carrier, we must have an Indian aircraft carrier with an Indian aircraft and Indian pilots flying it. So there was a little bit of national pride in the heart of scientists, and we also supported it quite a lot. Thereafter, the moment he said that we are going to do it, and we got Naval Headquarters on board, and we said that Naval Headquarters said yes, we will do the funding, and rest is all 30 years of history. So ultimate aim being own aircraft carrier, own pilots, own aircraft.
Okay, General Arora, long journey, but how did this all move about and come to this stage when the arrested landing has been tested successfully?
Firstly, we couldn't have had a better expert than Admiral Sinha. He's the one who's been involved personally in this project right from its beginning. And what he has said, I would like to take on from there. Where are we today? Arrested landing has been demonstrated in the last few days at the Naval Air Station. But what Admiral Sinha had in mind when the project took off and what is happening today is the moot point. This arrested landing is a major milestone in the history of naval aviation. I'm very glad that as it does the Kaveri engine also, and I am very happy that despite all the delays, we are going towards developing indigenous capability which is possessed only by USA, Russia, UK, France, and now China. Hopefully India will be added to it when the complete development takes place. But the idea was that the LCA Navy would be developed on the Mark II. This is now being tested on Mark I. Mark II has not yet been developed. So this development and trial, this is the journey towards a Mark II naval variant. But what is it intended for? This only aircraft carrier we have at the moment, Vikramaditya, is going to be there till let's say 2030, and the MiG-29Ks are already operating with this aircraft carrier. Will it replace them? Well, replacement for the indigenous aircraft carrier, that is INS Vikrant, which is a similar kind of aircraft carrier like Vikramaditya. Will it be for that? Can't say at the moment how this journey of development will take place.
Okay.
Because at the same time, 2 years ago, RFI was issued for carrier-borne, 57 carrier-borne aircraft with the F-18A Hornet in mind, with the Rafale in mind, and with the MiG-29. Now, those aircraft are all heavier types. They have twin engines, and they can be good for the third aircraft carrier which we are going to develop, that is Vishal, because it's a much bigger aircraft carrier, but it might have a different launch system and a landing system. So it might happen that, like in the case of Vikramaditya, the MiG-29Ks came much earlier, much later, and then they were used for land-based training until Vikramaditya arrived. Will the LCA Mark II Naval be ready? Will it be ready in such a time frame that Vikrant is still operational? Well, possible, and it can be used on that. But it may not be fit for Vishal, which will have the EMALs, or the electrical and magnetic launch system. So where does it stand now? And those aircraft which are being acquired, will they be acquired, which can come within 6 years?
Okay.
Remember, when MiG-29 development started, it was given up because the Soviet Union collapsed. But overall, the complete time taken was 12 years. So it is quite possible that Tejas Mark II Naval will also take another 8 to 10 years or 12 years from now until it is inducted into service.
Okay.
So these to which our attention goes, and these must be highlighted. India requires an integrated approach from the government side to give fillip to the naval aerospace, or otherwise also overall aerospace industry, and also engine manufacturing.
Okay.
I can come to that later.
Okay, we'll talk about that later, but let me bring in Ajay here. And Ajay, as both the gentlemen here put in specifically, the time taken has been, and it might take a few more years before we see this variant operational. But the moot basic point out here is the indigenization, basically make in India. We're making it on our own.
Well, first of all, congratulations to HAL and Naval Test pilots led by Malgaonkar sir, who have done this job of arrested landing. To explain to our viewers what is an arrested landing, the difference between a normal aircraft and a naval fighter jet is that it carries a tail hooker. Tail hooker is a kind of a thing which hooks onto arrestor wires. Now, these arrestor wires are across the aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier, to explain to your viewers, is no more than 100 meters, 150 meters available for landing. Arrests in the wires and stops the plane. Now, this is a great technological achievement we have achieved on our own plane. Mind it, our naval pilots like Admiral Sinha have been doing this for the past 30-40 years already, so this is not a new thing. But with our own plane, as you rightly pointed out, our own made plane is the first thing. To put it in perspective for the second part, why do we need a naval fighter jet? Please understand, an aircraft carrier floating out at sea, a naval fighter jet with an operational radius of 1,000 kilometers means that land. 2, tackle them quickly. 3, stop those threats from attacking our flotillas, our aircraft carriers, our submarines, and our refineries, which are largely out near the shore. Point number 3, what difference does it make? Well, the difference makes is a power projection, Vishal. Power projection means the USA operates around 10 aircraft carriers, is inducting one more. Japan has helicopter carriers which can be used as vertical takeoff fighter jet carriers also. China is making 2, at the third one the keel has been laid, and France and UK is making another one too. Why China? Because China is projected to make around 6 aircraft carriers, and India and China will possibly have a kind of a dominant, who plays the dominant role in the Indian Ocean.
Okay.
We have one carrier ready at the moment, as the experts have pointed out, Vikramaditya. The Vikrant will be set sail in 21. And the third carrier is needed because if one carrier goes to repair, the third carrier takes over the role of the second carrier. Why these fighter jets? Why the Tejas? The Navy is very clear that this is a single ask you to ask Vice Admiral Sinha whether a twin-engine fighter jet will be a better option. And when we talk of the LCA Mark II, it is now being labelled by the DRDO as a medium-weight fighter. It will be around 17 tons, which is like pretty heavy. The present Tejas Air Force variant is around 6 tons, so it is like almost 3 times heavier. That means greater engines, greater machineries. These are the things which will happen on the Tejas Mark II. But the Navy at the moment, I think, is looking at what I believe is this development of the LCA naval version will continue. but it will look only at the AMCA or the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft as one of the planes, or the LCA Mark II, that is the medium weight fighter, as one of the fighter jets on the decks. But I'll request Admiral Sinha if he can point out if we need a 2-engine plane or a 1-engine plane, Vishal.
Okay.